Win tickets today at 989theanswer.com. That's 989theanswer.com.
Welcome in. We're a day closer. Ready to start a Monday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. Thanks for joining us. We'll be underway shortly. Music's playing. Here we go. I was trying to figure out an analogy about how I feel one day before the presidential election commences tomorrow morning with the nationwide voting starting at 6:30 a.m. in the East. Two things came to mind previously in my life were anxiety mixed with hope, mixed with dread. First was a series of games my kids have been in, athletic competitions where I really wanted, not regular season games, like tournament games where, win a district championship, get to the regional level, maybe entertain hopes for a state championship, but feel like the other team has weapons that my daughter's team can't deal with. The other is like, a family member going into a very serious surgery. You know why you're doing it. It has to be done, but you obviously know what the consequences of the outcome are. So that's somewhere in between those two is where I am as this election approaches. I'm, of course, extremely desirous that Donald Trump wins this election, that the Republicans control the Senate, and it would be wonderful if they held on to their House majority. I would love to see Republican control of government in Washington, D.C., not so much because, and I really thought a lot about this morning as I was praying and reading through my Bible. My desire for Republican victories tomorrow is not really based in any kind of a, investment in Trump's tax cuts or even things like border policy. It's invested in the fact that as someone who dedicated their life to living the way God tells me to live in Holy Scripture, when you see our country trending toward further proof that we are not doing that collectively, it really does, and I think it does me, and I would argue should you bother you a lot. And I know not everybody in this audience views life through the same prism that I do, but I'm also transparent about the prism through which I view life. And I view it through the authoritative Word of God and my obligation to live that way and to advocate for not my own personal positions, not the ones that would be better for me economically or whatever, but our moral and righteous positions. And it's just inarguable that the Democratic Party does not embrace those positions. And it could become apparent to us as early as Tuesday night, may not be, but it could become apparent to us as early as Tuesday night that our country has reached a tipping point where more Americans embrace positions that are decidedly anti-God. The murder of children in the womb, you say, well, you're already there, Bruce. Yeah, and I get it. But it's also more than that. It is an election that takes place. Here are the latest numbers. An election that takes place where 74% of Americans, according to the polls, say that the country is on the wrong track. Okay? 74% of Americans say the country is on the wrong track. 78% of Americans say that they personally are worse off today than they were when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris took office in January of 2021. 74% wrong track, 78% personally worse off. So how do you explain, given those numbers, overwhelmingly one on one side of 3/4, very close, one on the other side of 3/4, and also very close, to where 3/4 of the country thinks they're worse off personally and that the country collectively is on the wrong track. And yet the polls, every single one you look at, are split down the middle 50-50. That is people ignoring what their mind and brain and life is telling them, and instead prioritizing a lie. A lie that the people who have been in charge of getting us to the point where 74% think we're on the wrong track and 78% say they're personally worse off, and some of the numbers are, and I believe this because it's really true in my family with our finances, that the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris presidency, if you're a true middle-class American, not somebody who grew up with 2 PhD parents like Kamala Harris did, she continues to lie about the fact that she grew up middle class. She didn't. But if you're a true middle-class American, it's at least $10,000 more expensive to live now than it was before. You say, wait a minute, you said this was like a spiritual issue for you, not a personal boots on the ground finances issue for you. But if you have 3/4 of the people who say you're on the wrong track and who say that it's worse for me personally, and yet 50% are split toward Trump and 50% are split toward Harris, that tells you that truth does not matter to the American electorate anymore. It tells you that they either don't know or they don't care. And I understand why they might not know, because I'm fully aware that everyone's not as invested in the nuances of politics as I am, and probably not as invested in the nuances of politics as you are, because you're listening to this show, which sort of forces you to be invested in the nuances of politics. So I get, that a lot of America might not know. And also because their degree of might not knowing is dramatically impacted by the people who are charged with informing them, and the people who are charged with informing them, legacy media, is a habit that is hard to break. My parents are both in heaven now, but when they were both alive, I would drive to see them, and I would walk in at dinner time, and they're watching the CBS Evening News. And I'm like, what are you watching this garbage for? Well, because it's what we always watch. We watch Channel 10, and then we watch the CBS Evening News, and then we watch Jeopardy. And I'm like, you have a remote in your hand. It's not like the old days where you used to say, hey, Bruce, get out of the chair, go change the channel. No, I found this out when I went to work for a radio station that established a new sports station in this market for like a half a second. Because while we had programming that was really good, people were in the habit of listening to the dominant sports station in the market, and media habits are hard to break. So a lot of people don't know about the Daily Wire. They don't know about Real Clear Politics. They don't know or care to try to find information that is not fed to them over ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN. They still think, oh, they're saying it on TV. It must be true. I'll excuse the people who don't know. I can't excuse the people who don't care. I can't excuse the people who don't care, who believe in their heart that Donald Trump is going to land helicopters on your lawn and send the Navy SEALs in to get you if you have a Harris Wall sign on your lawn, that he's going to enact a national abortion ban, that he's ordering his second term, should he get it, from Project 2025. That he's going to outlaw in vitro fertilization. And he's going to be a fascist and a dictator because the first time he was in office, he didn't do it, but he was waiting until he lost and had to run again. And after the Democrats tried to put him in prison, that was when he was going to, you got to be a moron to believe that. Or you have to not care. Or you have to not care. And the people who don't care, who think that America is an evil place and who want to turn their back and endorse a candidate who would, if she could, neuter the Supreme Court to where it has no co-equal role in the governing of our country, who would get rid of the Electoral College, who would add states to permanently establish a Democratic majority in the Senate, who would end the filibuster to give power to the mob in the Senate. If you endorse a candidate like that, then you either are stupid or you just don't care about ceding power to people who are doing exactly what they accuse the other side of doing. I don't want to live in that country. That's why I equate what happens tomorrow to other instances in my life where hope, anxiety, and fear all come together.
And it'll be warm this afternoon. The high today 73. Partly cloudy, mild tonight, low 60. Variable cloudiness, breezy warm day for election day. High tomorrow at 78. Cloudy and not as warm. A thunderstorm in the area on Wednesday. High Wednesday afternoon, 67. Thursday, sunny to partly cloudy with a high 62. Mostly sunny, terrific day on Friday. High at 64. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Are you under the impression that a metal roof costs 2 or 3 times more than a shingle roof? No, it doesn't. Hi, folks. I'm Dan Tolan, owner of The Metal Roof Company. As your foremost metal roofing authority in Central Ohio, I can promise you it's the most inexpensive roof you'll ever buy because it's the last roof you'll ever buy. With lifetime warranties and a variety of financing options, give us a call at 721-ROOF, 721-ROOF, or reach out to us on the web at themetalroofcompany.com.
This is Josh Pick with Aptus Wealth Management. With arguably the most polarizing election coming up in November, a lot of people have fears about the country's economic future and if their investments are in fact in danger. So much so that many have decided to shift their funds to money markets and savings accounts to the tune of trillions of dollars. Fortunately, the Fed has started to lower interest rates, citing that inflation has been dampened. While that's a good thing for loans on items like home purchases, it puts those fixed savings accounts in jeopardy of losing ground by future interest rate decreases. The great news is there are logical decisions that can be made today to safeguard your dollars and solidify your financial independence. You just need to take the first step. Whether you've never met with a fiduciary investment advisor before or just want a second opinion, we're here to help. Call our office today at 614-917-1040 and learn how a cost-free complimentary consultation may be the key to putting your money to work and your mind at ease. And don't forget to listen to me on the Aptus Blueprint Radio Show Friday evenings at 6, Saturdays at noon, and when I join Bruce Hooley for Monday Mondays at 12:30 each week.
I knew that the first hour and a half of my day was going to be excruciating pain. I mean, it was so much pain, it literally brought tears to my eyes.
Dad to a prominent Ohio basketball family, Satch Sullinger was determined to find relief, and that's exactly what happened.
QC Kinetics, they are awesome. This is my body that they're using to repair itself. And so who wouldn't want to go for it?
QC Kinetics natural treatments got Satch's attention. Finally, a way to get rid of that pain in his knees without going under the knife. And best of all, they used his own healing properties to give him relief.
Since I've been having the treatment, I can go up and down steps. So I'm getting better, and my golf game shows because I'm starting to hit the ball a little bit better now.
Find out if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics treatments. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus and call today for your complimentary consultation. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. Again, 208-4544. QC Kinetics.
Hey everyone, Charlie Kirk here. Did you know that 80% of adults take supplements to feel our best, right? One thing your dog can't do without you is improve their diet or health to feel their best. That's why I believe Rough Greens could dramatically help your best friend by adding what's missing to their diet like you do. Rough Greens is helping thousands of dogs feel better and live longer, including my dog who loves it. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, who created Rough Greens, is also an airborne ranger and Green Beret, an amazing background. He loves dogs, and he's on a mission to help as many as he can. Listen carefully, dog food is dead food. Rough Greens supplements your dog's food with essential vitamins and minerals, omega oils, digestive enzymes, probiotics, and antioxidants. Dr. Black is offering a free Jumpstart trial bag to get back their energy, improve elimination, and get rid of itching, scratching, achy joints, and bad breath. Fetch your free Jumpstart trial bag. Just cover shipping. Don't change your dog's food. Just add Rough Greens today. That is ruffgreens.com/Kirk. and naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black. To check it out. And if you are a cat owner, check out Meow Greens. That's all you can find at roughgreens.com/trip.
Cindy, Stacy, Peggy, and Matt, the latest to take advantage of the opportunity to save money on their flooring by going to brucehooley.com and clicking flooring in the upper right-hand corner of the page. I love helping you out. I love meeting you, and I've had the chance to do that a couple of times here in the past week. So if you are looking to get your flooring redone in advance of the holidays, maybe even by Thanksgiving, then go to brucehooley.com and click flooring in the upper right-hand corner of the page. Had an interesting conversation with a lovely couple in Worthington on Friday and explained to them how you go into a big box store and the prices on the carpet look so low. You got to remember, all carpet is sold by the square yard, not the square foot. Hate to hit you with math, but how many square feet are there in a square yard? The answer would be 9. And so when you see that low price, got to multiply it by 9. Everybody buys it the same. Why were they lying to you? That'll never happen. brucehooley.com. We are honest. We'll get it installed faster. We'll save you money. brucehooley.com. Click flooring in the upper right-hand corner of the page. Franklin County jury back court today deliberating the verdict case of Adam Coy, a former Columbus police officer who shot and killed Andre Hill about 4 years ago. What they're trying to determine is whether the actions of Adam Coy were objectively reasonable for a police officer. An officer is allowed to make a mistake if they believed, based on the knowledge at the time, that they were acting appropriately. And at issue in this trial is, what did Adam Coy think when he asked Andre Hill to come out of the garage? There had been a loitering complaint. He goes, Coy goes, another officer goes. Mr. Hill, we don't know what the interactions were between them, but when he came out of the garage, he had something in his hand. Officer Coy mistook it for a gun and in fact yelled, "Gun, gun, gun," and then fired 4 times. So the Hill family has already been paid a $10 million settlement by the city of Columbus. Jury deliberated for 4 hours on Thursday, 5 hours on Friday. They're back in court today. They've asked the judge, Stephen McIntosh, questions about a couple of things, but those questions have not been revealed. Now, this could end the same way that the Jason Meade trial ended, in a hung jury, in which case, if it does end in a hung jury, the case could be dismissed. But you know that's not going to happen in Columbus, Ohio. They're going to retry Adam Coy if they can, because that's the mindset locally, that the police are always wrong. And even if the law is on their side, and I don't know that it is in the Adam Coy case, I know it is in the Meade case, but even if the law is on their side, based upon what I just read to you, I would say, yeah, he was objectively reasonable in how he fired. It doesn't mean it's not a tragedy. It's an enormous tragedy. I harken back to the case of Breonna Taylor in Louisville, which really upset the left, that the officers in that case were not found guilty. And nobody disputes that it's a tragedy that she died. But the guy with her that night fired first at officers. They're going to return fire. Okay? If they think you have a weapon, they're going to return fire. So same thing with the case of Donovan Lewis here locally. The same case with Takia Young, who tried to run over the Blendon Township officer with her car. I mean, it's just, cops are not paid enough that they are supposed to be targets for people shooting at them. Nor can they wait until they are absolutely 100% certain that people aren't shooting at them. Because in that case, they'll be dead many times before that is determined. Now, yesterday was beautiful weather, so that might explain why people were willing to wait up to 3 hours in line at the Franklin County Board of Elections to vote early. So that's the only place you can vote in Franklin County. I think it's a state law that you can only have one early voting location in Ohio in each county. I voted early. I live in a rural county, and so it was not nearly as hard to vote as it was for those of you in Franklin County, but good for you that you got out and voted. Now, obviously, it's a presidential election year, but to me, there are 3 issues in Ohio that are as important. I'm not going to say they're more important, because it's really important that Kamala Harris never becomes president and never has access to power, because she's an empty suit and a puppet for whoever has been running the country the last 4 years, because Joe Biden hasn't been doing it. So that's extremely important. Also important, as important, electing Bernie Moreno. And Bernie's going to join us at 11:35. He wants to make a final push to you, the listeners to the Bruce Hooley Show. So Bernie's going to join us at 11:35. And Bernie Moreno is in Ohio over the weekend. He's got Ron DeSantis here on his behalf. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. Tucker Carlson was here on Bernie's behalf. And Bernie makes a great point. He's not wrong on this. He says eating at McDonald's now is a luxury in the current economy that Biden and Harris have given us. And the Biden-Harris administration, I'll give Bernie a chance to respond to the negative ad that has been running about him since the beginning. Oh, he stole overtime from workers. He shredded records. I mean, I can tell you where that comes from. I'll let Bernie tell you where that comes from. Sherrod Brown, for his part, is continuing to do what he's done for his 3 terms in the Ohio Senate, portray himself in the U.S. Senate. Sherrod Brown's doing in his campaign for a 4th term. He wants to extend to 24 years, which is quite likely going to be longer than 1/4 of his life served in the U.S. Senate. What a great gig that must be. We must not know anything about the benefits somebody would want to consume 1/4 of their life serving in the U.S. Senate after they've served another 3 decades in other government grifts. That's Sherrod Brown. Never had a real job. By the way, do you think there'd be a big deal made if Bernie Moreno was a Russian studies major? Oh, Russia, Russia, Russia. Sherrod Brown, Russian studies major. I'm not saying that he's a pawn of Russia. I'm just saying, if Moreno were a Russian studies major, that would be an issue. Sherrod Brown has spent millions upon millions upon millions, and he has many more millions than Bernie Moreno, and he has the temerity to say that, a huge amount of money is making this race closer than it should be. No, it's not your 98.5% support of Biden and Harris policy, Sherrod Brown. It's not the fact that American manufacturing is much lower in Ohio and the job count has gone through the floor since you've been a U.S. Senator. No, it's not that. It's that mean Bernie Moreno and his supporters have spent too much money against you. This is the first time Sherrod Brown's actually had to fight for a Senate seat because of disjointed Republican campaigns or presidential campaigns that avoided him being on the ballot when other presidential elections were contested, or when the Democratic presidential candidate on the ballot was an incumbent or was popular. So we'll see. That's extremely important. Electing all Republican justices to the Ohio Supreme Court is extremely important. And defeating issue 1 is extremely important. You got to vote no on issue 1. No on issue 1. How would you like it if Saturday at Penn State, Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt came on screaming and yelling about the final score of today's game is Penn State 30, Ohio State 20. You say, well, that's ridiculous. The game hasn't started yet. No, but that's what issue 1 does. It fixes the final score of representatives, how many Democrats, how many Republicans, before the election, by the way they order the districts. Do yourself a favor. I'll do this for you. I'll go online today. I'll print the Senate maps for the state of Ohio and the House maps for the state of Ohio. And you'll see that they're not finagled. They're not gerrymandered. Democrats want to bend the rules beforehand to cook the final score.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. For those who haven't already voted, tomorrow is the day, and the presidential candidates making an all-out effort today to win the backing of undecided voters. Former President Trump holding a series of rallies today in battleground states, including North Carolina and Pennsylvania. Kamala Harris focusing on Pennsylvania with visits to Philadelphia, Allentown, and Pittsburgh. On the heels of yesterday's powerful storms that injured 11 people, Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt says it's no time to let down your guard. He says more storms are expected today. Boeing manufacturing workers voting today on a proposed contract offering a 38% pay hike over 4 years. The Boeing strike is now more than 7 weeks old. On Wall Street, the Dow 199 points lower, the Nasdaq trading 25 points higher. More details at srnnews.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 98.9theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
At Balance of Nature, the quality of our products always starts with TLC, tender, loving care. We start by ensuring that only the finest fruit and vegetable ingredients are selected for our supplements. We put our ingredients through an advanced vacuum cold process that removes their moisture. Then they're ground up into a fine powder, encapsulated, and voila! Our fruits and veggie supplements are made just for you with love. And our commitment to care doesn't end there. Our customer care team is here to provide assistance, ensuring that you have the support and guidance you need. It's the tender, loving care you can see, smell, taste, and feel with every delivery. Celebrate this season with Black Friday savings all month long. Sign up as a new preferred customer to get 50% off your first order, plus a free fiber and spice supplement. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this exclusive Black Friday offer by using discount code GORKA.
So this year, I ordered my prom dress from Shady Deals, and when it came, it said some assembly required.
I ordered these batteries for my digital camera, but the batteries weren't included, so I had to draw all of our family memories. I ordered a 60-inch TV from Shady Deals. What they actually meant is you can't sit further than 60 inches away. Be a savvy consumer, research businesses, report false advertising, and settle transaction claims with the BBB.
Test your advertising IQ. Go to bbbadtruth.org.
Hi, it's Bruce Hooley, and I hope you'll join me every day, 11 to 1, for the Bruce Hooley Show. A lot of consequential issues that we have to talk about. It's a transformational time in our country, and you want to understand all the issues. That's what I hopefully help you do. Bruce Hooley Show, 11 to 1, Monday through Friday on 9890theanswer.com.
If you're looking to save money, and who isn't, in an economy that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have crafted that's costing you about $10,000 more a year, then I'd go to the Discount Shopping Club and take advantage, particularly if you are in the market for a new air conditioner or a furnace, because Temperature Pro makes available to you the Goodman 3-ton air conditioner and furnace at half off, $3,999. Would you rather spend $8,000? Of course not. Particularly if you have a home that's perfectly suited to this awesome piece of equipment. If you have a 2,200 to 2,600 square foot home, then take advantage. How, Bruce? Go to 989theanswer.com. That's 989theanswer.com. Tab over to the right-hand side. It says More, and then under the More drop-down menu, Discount Shopping Club. Is there anything else in there, Bruce? Yes, of course. You have to go and find out how you can save in the Discount Shopping Club at 989theanswer.com. So it's interesting. Sherrod Brown portrays himself as a man of the people, Sherrod Brown. He's for the average working man. I notice here online that in quarter three, Sherrod Brown campaign finance report, $12.8 million in the second quarter of the year. Bernie Moreno, $4.4 million. Sherrod Brown in the third quarter of the year, $30.6 million. Bernie Moreno, $4 million in the third quarter, including, according to Politico, not a friend of Bernie Moreno, $3 million from his own pocket. From his own pocket. So there you go. Of course, Sherrod Brown could not bring that kind of financing out of his own pocket because he's never had a real job, never hired anybody, never paid anybody like Bernie Moreno, the U.S. Senate candidate for the Republican Party who joins us now. And I assume, Bernie, you are running through the tape fast here on the final day of your campaign. Tell us what the activities are for you today. Yeah, absolutely. What kind of feedback are you getting from people? And more importantly, are there crossover voters out there? Are there independent voters out there whose message, with whom your message is resonating?
My opponent wants to give citizenship to people who broke into our country, wants to reward them. He takes better care of illegals than American citizens. He's for sending hundreds of billions of dollars to foreign countries. You know, this is what this election is about. Work for the American people, not for foreign countries.
Bernie, you joined us at the Talkers Tour event a week or so ago at Genoa, and you said something that I was stunned by, that there are, I think, 34 Senate races on the ballot nationally this year, and Ohio is the only one where there has not been a debate between the two candidates. Sherrod Brown debated his other candidates who were not as strong as you in his previous 3 runs at the U.S. Senate, all of which he's been successful at. What kind of response did you get? What is the excuse du jour from the Sherrod Brown campaign that they would never debate you?
No response. So they just completely ghosted us, ignored us. We wanted 8 debates around the state, 1 in each media market, so that the people of Ohio would get a campaign that they deserve, which is a contrast on policies. I would say this is my vision on these policies. He could give a defense of his voting record and his policies, and people would really be able to see a campaign worthy of the people of Ohio. Instead, Sherrod Brown is hid behind hundreds of millions of dollars of lies, TV ads that says he's a moderate, that he was with President Trump, which is, you know, it's complete nonsense. He voted to impeach him twice, voted against every single one of his judicial nominees, said the border wall was ludicrous, voted for the Green New Deal, sent hundreds of billions of dollars to foreign countries. This is a guy who's so out of touch with Ohio. Bruce, an issue that you and I care a lot about, keeping men out of women's sports. Sherrod Brown voted to allow that, allowed children to be mutilated. So it's a shame we didn't get the campaign we deserved. But, you know, he's just a coward. He's not able to defend his record, so he hides behind billionaire-funded campaign ads.
Yeah, absolutely right. And the one that they've run at you, and I want to give you a chance to respond to it, is that, the mean car dealer, he stole overtime from his workers, he shredded records. There's a way to lie with things that are, you know, half-truths. The problem is a half-truth is also a half a lie. So that's really the only attack ad that he's run against you other than abortion, which, you know, I mean, fine. I'm never going to ding a guy for being pro-life like you are. But take us through the background on the allegation that you shredded records and cheated people out of overtime.
Yeah, it's actually, I'm convinced it's the reason why he wouldn't debate me, because he knows after spending 60, 70, $80 million and having the entirety of the Ohio media lie about this case, that we could dissect it in 60 seconds. And here's the story, Bruce. I had 15 dealerships, started with one. One of those dealerships was in Massachusetts. I built the dealership in 14, sold it in 18. A year after I sold the dealership, a salesperson had nothing to do with me at a furniture store that had nothing to do with me sued and said that salespeople who earn commissions should not have overtime hours deducted from their bonuses. That was the gist of the case. It went all the way up to the Massachusetts Supreme Court, who ruled that commission salespeople should not have overtime deducted from their bonuses, which would have been fine It wouldn't have affected me. I sold the dealership a year earlier, like I said, but they made the ruling retroactive. And it affected every single commission business in Massachusetts. It was a total disgrace. It's why we have to vote for strong conservative Republicans like Megan Shanahan, Dan Hawkins, and Joe Dieters for the Ohio Supreme Court. So something like that could never happen here. And then the shredding documents piece was when I was doing a deposition months earlier from the case. The lawyer asked me how I knew the salespeople did or did not work overtime. I said, I don't know that they did because they never punched in, never punched out. And I said, I used to get a report every payroll period that showed me who worked overtime. He said, well, what'd you do with those reports? I said, well, the data still exists. This is just a manual report that my controller produced. And I said, I discarded it. She goes, and then he said, like lawyers do, well, how do you discard it? I said, what do you mean? Like how? Physically? Well, we have a shredding service because obviously that's sensitive information. And then the judge harped on that because he was upset that we had taken the case to court. He didn't sanction me. Yeah, he just said that we had shredded documents, which is, again, not true. We had the underlying data. We gave it to the judge. He refused to accept it. We said, look, here's all the payroll data. But this just shows you why businesses are fleeing Massachusetts, why businesses don't want to go there. And these types of policies, Bruce, is what Kamala Harris and Sherrod Brown want for the whole country. Anti-business policies where businesses don't want to invest, don't want to create jobs. This is the kind of thing that's repelled businesses from Ohio. It's why we've lost 200,000 manufacturing jobs. But I'll tell you this, I'm extremely proud of the company we built. I'm extremely proud that my company was voted best places to work many years in a row. And why we did so well is because I knew one simple philosophy. My job was to take care of my people, reward them, train them, and motivate them, and they would take care of my clients. We did that, which is why my company succeeded.
Bernie Moreno is our guest, running for Senate on the Republican side of the ticket tomorrow. And if you've not already voted, make sure you get out there and make sure you vote Bernie Moreno. Don't count on a Donald Trump win in Ohio because the polls tell you that. Bernie Moreno needs your vote. Get out there. The Republican justices running for the Ohio Supreme Court need your vote, and a vote no on issue 1. No on issue 1. Also important. Okay, you made the point in your ads, Sherrod Brown's too liberal for Ohio. I think he didn't want to debate you too, because when you're, as Sherrod Brown was, a co-sponsor of the Equality Act, you can lie. You can get Cleveland TV anchors to lie for you and say that, oh, you never voted to allow men to play women's sports. He could never have defended that on a debate stage.
No, by the way, if it were only the Cleveland anchors that lie for him, it's the Columbus, the Dayton, the Toledo, Patty. I mean, they're all close personal friends with Sherrod and his wife. And his wife works for Gannett, who owns most of the newspapers in Ohio, owns the Dispatch, owns the Inquirer, owns a lot of the TV stations here. Look, the media wants to do everything they can to make sure that Sherrod Brown gets reelected because he's one of them. That's the exact words that came out of a reporter in Youngstown to me just earlier last week. So look, we the people. Americans want a country that's free from government involvement in their lives, that allows them to live the life they want, that doesn't overtax us, overburden us, and that doesn't treat us like garbage, Bruce. And that's what we've got, is a government that treats the American people like garbage. We're sick and tired of it. And tomorrow, look, everybody listening, Bruce, every single person listening, stop doing what you're doing right now. You got to go out and vote tomorrow like this country depends on it, because it does. Polls open at 6:30. They go right to 7:30. And if you've already voted, find 10 people in your life that you can help get to the polling locations, whether it's babysitting their kids, giving them a ride. This election is our chance to send a message to the world that America will not be a socialist or communist country. We're going to stand for freedom and liberty around the world. The world needs that message. And Ohio, tomorrow night, Bruce, will be the center of the political universe.
That was uncanny timing. That was live. He hit the post, as we say in radio. Awesome. Thanks, Bernie. Appreciate it, man. Sherrod Brown's a disaster. It's a lying disaster. He's a con man. He's been in government 50 years. Man. All these people, Maxine Waters, Chuck Schumer, Mitch McConnell. Okay? Like it's not like exclusively the purview of the Democratic Party to run people in perpetuity. That's not how our government was supposed to run. supposed to be citizen servants. Bernie Moreno has said, I'll serve 2 terms. 2, that's it. Sherrod Brown's 71. 71. Retire. You hack. Take your pension. Go on a vacation with your wife. What's wrong with you, you idiot?
In helping those with a 401k or other types of retirement accounts convert their vulnerable paper assets into physical gold. Today, we'd like to send you a free gold election kit to help you decide if this is right for you. Call 606.
Despicable. Run forever. Run forever. It's a great gig. Free health care. This, that, the other. Blah. Just, you don't have enough money yet, Sherrod Brown? Oh, nobody else can do the job like I can. Your ego's out of control. Phony.
Let Magnetic Springs Bottled Water Company deliver your water to your home or office for less. Let us take the hassle out of bottled water. Call Magnetic Springs Bottled Water Company today, 800-572-2990. Or go online to magneticsprings.com to place your order and receive 2 free cases of 16-ounce sports bottles.
Magnetic Springs is a member of the iTex trading community. Your iTex
Were we done with Bernie?
Julie, and I realized something recently when I walked
Thank you.
into Revive Chiropractic in Lewis Center. I know it might sound hokey, but what struck me this time was that as a Revive patient, I feel like part of the Revive family. In fact, family is the word I'd use to describe Revive Chiropractic. In a little over a year, 3 of Dr. Brandon Schreiner's staff have had babies. One of the doctors got married, and her husband is now on staff treating patients. There's a kids' play area right inside the front door, and many patients bring their kids during treatment. There's Christian music playing, and Revive is always engaged in a community outreach or service project of some sort, whether it's a diaper drive or relief for hurricane victims in North Carolina. If you'd like to feel good about the people who help you feel better, call Revive Chiropractic. Mention my name and ask for their new patient special. You can find them online at revivechiro.com. That's revive, CHIRO.com. Or call 614-781-8808. That's revivechiro.com or 614-781-8808.
ProView Remodeling, Ohio's #1 choice in sunroofs, windows, doors, decks, sidings, patios, porches, basements, and bathroom remodels. Call ProView Remodeling today and get 25% off or 60 months, 0 interest. That's right, 60 months, 0 interest. Call or text 7 days a week, 614-756-3140. You win with ProView Remodeling, 614-756-3140. Check us out at proviewremodeling.com.
What motivated me to join AmeriCorps Vista was really just being able to give back to the community which I represent.
People all over the country join AmeriCorps Vista to help communities overcome poverty.
It allows me to explore a lot of different things, and I don't think I'll be able to do that with a regular job.
Learn how you can build your community and your career at AmeriCorps.gov/Vista.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra Nationwide Arena. You can win tickets when you go to 9890answer.com. We have 10 pairs to give away. It's a great show. All the same spectacular music and laser light show that you've come to expect. As this is kind of an annual stop for TSO. It strikes me that they come here every year after Christmas. Don't know if it always pairs up to the day after, but this year it does, and you can be in the house if you win one of those 10 pairs of tickets at 9890answer.com. While you're there, explore around the site. Find your way to the Discount Shopping Club. Or, hey, I missed this segment of the Bruce Hooley Show, or I missed this segment of the Aptus Retirement Blueprint Radio Show, or other great programming that we have here on The Answer, including all of our Salem Radio Network lineup. Maybe you're busy at that particular point of the day. You miss Charlie Kirk, you miss Larry Elder, you miss Mike Gallagher. Now you can catch up in the podcast that we post at 9890answer.com. Appreciate those of you who listen to the Bruce Hooley Show podcast every day. Make 9890answer.com a daily visit when you are browsing online. So we have 2 candidates who are visiting all the battleground states that they can today, trying to cram in one final appearance: Pennsylvania, Michigan, North Carolina, Georgia. I think Arizona, Nevada, and Wisconsin will get short shrifted. Don't know if they'll send the Price is Right contestant Tim Walz around the country or not. Am I the only one who thinks after picking Tim Walz as vice president and after J.D. Vance ran over him and then backed over him and then ran over him again, that Tim Walz has been like invisible on the campaign trail? Or is that just a Democratic thing? I mean, Kamala Harris hasn't been as invisible as Joe Biden was during COVID, but Kamala Harris has not exactly been expansive in her policy positions. Axios, which is an extremely liberal outlet, Axios. Story today, written by Alex Thompson, who I don't know this guy, but I will credit him. Alex Thompson of Axios has been posting online throughout the presidential campaign questions on social media every day that Kamala Harris won't answer or that nobody in her campaign will answer. Alex Thompson somehow must have weaseled his way into Axios and is actually doing what appears to me to be something close to the work of an actual journalist. And he writes a story today called "The No Comment Candidate. Harris' Strategy Clouds How She Would Govern." Now, I'm going to say Kamala Harris is a mystery. Some of you may love mysteries. A mystery is fine if, it's help you go to sleep at night, or, you got some leisure time, you don't feel like watching television. But a mystery in a president is a very bad thing because you have no idea how they're going to govern. Is there anybody in America who doesn't know where Donald Trump stands on immigration? Is anybody in America who doesn't know where Donald Trump stands on tax policy? He'd like to lower them. Is there anyone in America who doesn't know Donald Trump's approach to foreign policy, which is peace through strength, or on domestic energy policy, drill baby drill? No one's unclear on that, okay? With Kamala Harris, Alex Thompson makes the point in his story under the headline, "The No Comment Candidate," that this is purposeful and strategic because she has calculated that it is safer to be vague on policy matters than criticized as a flip-flopper or a left-winger. He says Harris and her staff have refused to detail her position on more than a dozen of her previous stances the past 3 months in response to questions by Axios. The response is a consistent no comment. Alex Thompson draws from this the conclusion that, quote, her actual governing plans remain a mystery, even to many Democrats, given her past liberal record and current promise to govern from the middle. So what kind of issues is he talking about? He says that he has asked, and the campaign and Kamala Harris have declined to specify, whether she still supports executive actions to give unilateral citizenship to up to 2 million dreamers. These are the children of immigrants that Barack Obama tried to give citizenship to, and we were stopped by the courts. Does she still support that? Don't know. No comment. Ending the death penalty on the federal level. She's been a lifelong opponent of capital punishment, but she won't stand behind a position one way or the other. A mandate for automakers to build electric or hydrogen vehicles by 2035. No more internal combustion engines. She's advocated it for in the past. Now she won't say. Executive actions. Will she use them? Just she gets elected. She can go in. She can, with a stroke of a pen, protect more than 6 million undocumented immigrants from deportation by expanding Obama's DACA guidelines. She for that? She against it? We don't know. You don't need to know. Decriminalizing prostitution. Oh, yeah. That's a big Democratic position. Victimless crime. She stand behind it? We don't know. Getting rid of the Senate filibuster. She's gone right up to it. I think we need to take a look at it. Well, where do you stand on it? I'm not going to say. Of course, there are the old issues that we've talked about here before about federal prisoners and detained immigrants getting sex reassignment surgeries at the expense of the taxpayer. Not going to comment on that one either. Reparations to Black Americans. Tick a lock. Not saying. Continued support for sanctuary cities that provide safety and refuge for illegal aliens. That adds to the mystery. Restore voting rights for all inmates in prison. You're a serial murderer? You should have a say in who the president of the country is. That's been Kamala Harris's position in the past. Is it still? We don't know. Now, she has said, my values haven't changed. Well, if your values haven't changed, are we crazy to think that your positions on these issues haven't changed? Or are we crazy to think that, as Bernie Sanders said, you are just not saying because you are trying to get elected president? Trey Gowdy, Fox News, on Kamala Harris's constant ducking and dodging on the issues.
I didn't say. So if you don't talk, it's hard to get in trouble. The problem with Kamala Harris is she has a voting record, and it was to the left of Bernie Sanders. I mean, very few Americans think death row inmates ought to be able to vote. Like maybe none. When I say very few, I mean none. But she did. So she either has to explain her change in position, which is always tough, or she has to just not talk.
Now, she started out in this campaign not talking. In fact, to this point, she has never done a press conference. Not a press conference. Not one. Oh, she sat for interviews with The View. And she even sat for an interview with Bret Baier, Bruce. Has she done a press conference where the questions come rapid fire, bing, bam, 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 from you don't know where, unless you're Joe Biden and you have a list somebody's handed you. My next question comes from. No, I mean a real actual press conference. Like presidential candidates were expected to do all the time until their candidate in 2020 was brain dead and couldn't do it, or until their candidate's head was empty with nothing but air between the ears, like now, and was incapable of doing it. Here's Harold Ford of Fox, who says Harris definitely should have answered more questions.
I'm surprised that she didn't have to give a long-form interview. I'm surprised she didn't have to do more. I thought what she did with Brett, she did a good job. I would have done more if I were her.
Plus, Harold Ford's not an idiot. Of course he would have done more. Harold Ford knows how to answer questions. He exists in the unscripted lineup of the 5 every Monday through Friday on Fox. He's not afraid to respond off the cuff because Harold Ford has, while his positions conflict with mine, he has real personal conviction on the positions that he holds. She doesn't. She's a wet her finger, hold it up, see which way the wind is blowing candidate. In 2019, when she was in a crowded field of candidates to run as the Democratic nominee in 2020, she read the room that as liberal as I can be, the better it will be for me. Now, when she's handed the nomination without a single vote in the primaries, she realizes none of her positions, which caused her to drop out before the first primary in 2020, were popular enough that she'd have a ghost of a chance of winning. And so she either wouldn't say what they were, wouldn't explain her difference, or just hid throughout the campaign.
War has played a key role in the history of the United States, from the nation's founding right down to the present. Wars made the United States independent, kept it together, increased its size, and established it as a global superpower. Hi, I'm James Early, host of the Key Battles of American History podcast. In each episode, I discuss American history through the lens of the most important battles of America's wars. To start listening now, go to ParthenonPodcast.com or search Key Battles of American History on your favorite podcasting platform.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
Find us at 989theanswer.com. Download our app. Stream us 24/7. WTOH and WTOH HD1, Upper Arlington, Columbus.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump says he's ready to serve a second term.
This is really the end of a journey, but a new one will be starting, and that's the one we wanted to partake in, which is basically to make America great again. And now we'll have a chance to do it after today. Hopefully, everything will work out well.
Mr. Trump speaking at a campaign rally in Raleigh, North Carolina, earlier this morning. With more on the candidate's final push toward Election Day, here's correspondent Bernie Bennett.
Election eve has arrived. The race for the White House still very tight. The latest ABC News Ipsos poll out Sunday showing Kamala Harris slightly ahead nationally, but Donald Trump ahead in some key swing states. And the two candidates did talk about Pennsylvania. Harris is spending her last full day campaigning in battleground Pennsylvania, while Trump is hitting the trail in North Carolina and Pennsylvania, and in the day in Michigan. Pretty pitiful.
Also at townhall.com, Oklahoma residents, they're trying to recover from devastating tornadoes over the weekend. Correspondent Julie Walker.
No deaths have been reported in Oklahoma after tornadoes tore through the state Sunday. Both near Oklahoma City, sending around a dozen people to the hospital, leveling scores of homes and buildings, and tossing cars around. After surveying damage yesterday, Dr. Kevin Stitt said on KOCO News, it's a lot to take in. The National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center in Oklahoma says 6 or more tornadoes hit the state overnight.
And on Wall Street, stocks are lower ahead of this week's Federal Reserve meeting on interest rates. The Dow dropping 381 points, the Nasdaq off 77. More at townhall.com.
Washington, Arizona, Detroit, the LA Rams, and Philadelphia. Off the field, the slumping Las Vegas Raiders have fired offensive coordinator Luke Getsy. This is SRN Sports. In the NBA, winners included Detroit, Atlanta, and Dallas. In the NHL, the New York Rangers knocked off their hated rival.
Just tried to score the first period short-handed goal. The Rangers were on their way to a 5-2 win over the Islanders. Igor Shesterkin continued his strong play in goal with 35 saves. Offensively, the Rangers got 2 goals from Artemi Panarin and 3 assists from Mika Zibanejad. The Rangers are now 2-1. The Islanders got 4-5. They were 8-5 on the power play.
That's correspondent Mike Mancuso reporting. Other winners were Winnipeg, Carolina, Boston, Minnesota.
I got to get off the live stream. Sorry, you have to switch to Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page or the 989theanswer.com Facebook page. I appreciate all you watching today. Good audience, and pray for the country. Pray for the country.